Hey, Monday. You can trust that day. Happy Monday, everybody. Great to be back here on the show. Episode 592. Still going strong, and I don't think I'm slowing down anytime soon. I'll try and stop me, right? Boy, what a busy weekend. We had a fun weekend. We're going to talk about that. And, wow, snow. Dare I say it? I mean, that was interesting, right? Here the one day and gone the next, sort of, But I hope everybody was safe out there and hope you got to enjoy the weekend, have some fun. Lots of music happening around town, as always. I've got some more interviews coming up in the future with some local musicians and local talents as well. I guess you could say it that way. So looking forward to that. But take time, say hello in the comments. Let me know what you were up to. Maybe you've got some events that you know about, or maybe you were out on the weekend and enjoyed some music or fun. Whatever it is, put it in the comments below so others can learn about what's happening around Sarnia, right? That's why we're here on the show, and I appreciate all of you for sharing that. Lots to talk about, but always want to say thanks to my friends at Blue Water Power, a group of companies, for coming on board here with the show and supporting us and many others in the community as well. Of course, Joe's Discount Tire. I hope you had those snow tires on. Somebody said to me the other day, like, why would I change the tire? Why don't I just put snow tires on all year? Well, it doesn't work. They wear out faster, and they're designed for snow. So just, go to Joe's Discount Tire, talk to them about your tires, and get things all worked out there so that you're safe with your driving, right? Thanks to them for their support. And of course, 11 and a half years of support from our friends at AG Event Graphics. Visit them online at askguy.ca. Guy and staff, always great to deal with. And of course, I'm really grateful for their support as well. Well, when you talk about a busy weekend, the Sarnia Sting, wow. That's really, I don't know how to put it any other way, really. Like, the Sarnia Sting had a fantastic night, Friday night, regardless of the snow that was among us. 6-1 final against the London Knights, which was great to see because London kind of been a thorn in the side of the Sarnia Sting for some time. And of course, the last few times we played them, the same score and lost the same way, 4-3, right? 4-3. So to see this at 6-1 was a huge a win for the Sarnia Sting, and it was great to see. And of course, they clinched playoff positioning now, so things are really getting exciting now with the Sarnia Sting. Then this past weekend, and I've never been, but we Jennifer and I headed down to Windsor, and I thought, oh, the Sarnia Sting are playing. I'm going to go and watch them play the Windsor Spitfires, and what an exciting game! Go to sarniasting.com and you can see the highlights of this game from your TV. I got to tell you, and I went down there with some friends, my friends Connor and Matt. 9-6 was the final score. There's Connor and Matt. We were having a good time at the arena there, and we even got to see some of the Sarnia Sting players after the game. There were some other Sarnia Sting fans down there as well that I recognized and we were speaking to. So what a great arena as well. And the Windsor fans were actually, I was sitting there, I was in the middle of a whole bunch of Windsor fans, and they were actually quite nice. A gentleman I sat beside, we talked a lot of hockey and had a lot of fun. But 9-6, this would come out with the Sarnia Sting having the first goal, and then things would become 2-1, and then 5-1 for the Sarnia Sting, and then 5-2 still for the Sarnia Sting, and then Windsor would come back and tie things up 5-5. And I'm telling you, it was, oh no, what's going on? We could feel it slipping away. And then it was 6-5. Then it was 6-6. Then 7-6 for the Sarnia Sting. And then a couple empty net goals made it 9-6 final for the Sarnia Sting. I don't think I've ever seen such an exciting game of hockey. And I was reporting recorded on my stories. But wow, what an experience that was. And then, like I said, to my friends Connor and Matt, we hung out after the game for a little bit, had some fun. So, and thanks to Connor and Matt for coming down, and Sarnia Sting fans who came down there as well. Nice to see the support there. Now, of course, we'll be coming back to the Progressive Auto Sales Arena coming up this Friday as we take on the Sioux Greyhounds. Go to sarniasting.com to get your tickets. All right. Also coming up on March the 26th at the Rooster Music Hall, it's called Waylon's Wish. And this is Waylon Saunders, a young 3-year-old boy who was involved in a drowning accident and miraculously, after 3 hours of being pronounced dead, was brought back to life. So Painkiller Jane, Rumblefish, Gypsy Flats, Big Shiny Tunes, and Johnny Five getting together, and so many others getting together to help support the family so they can get through just some hard times right now. So that's all happening on March the 26th at Rooster Music Hall. You can go to the Rooster Music Hall website to find out more about what's happening at their hall as well. And it's just a great cause to help support a local family. So we'll be posting that, of course, on our Facebook page as well to get more details there. Well, Sarnia Sings is back finally, April the 20th this year, 2023. Boy, it's nice to see this come back. I'm glad that I'm going to be there again as the MC and helping out to Adam Dumont put this all together for Sarnia Sings 2023. Tickets are available online now, and they are going fast. You can go to imperialtheater.net, and you can go to the Sarnia Sings Facebook page to see some of the folks that we've already announced who are going to be performing, all local, and just going to be a lot of fun. And of course, this is to create or support mental health awareness and suicide prevention. So go to imperialtheater.net. The tickets are selling fast. And I'm excited. April the 20th. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot of talent here in Sarnia. All right, well, let's get to it. I'm really excited about this. Here's the Painted Cat, Cat Cabajar, who I've known for many years. And 11 years ago, just about when I started my show, she was starting the Painted Cat. And I interviewed her in her living room 11 years ago. And I've had her on the show since then a few times. But this time I caught up with her one-on-one to talk about her journey and some of the struggles along the way, how she got through them, and a very special announcement of a location for her new studio. Check out this one-to-one interview with my friend, the Painted Cat. Well, this time out in the community, I feel like I'm in the director's chair this time.
You are.
Right? Cat Cabajar, thanks so much. Or the Painted Cat really is what you're known for, right?
Well, just Cat is fine.
Just Cat is fine?
Yes.
Okay. We all go by lots of different names,
That's right, yeah.
Well, Cat, you and I were talking just recently before we arranged this time to meet that I think almost 11 years ago?
Yeah.
Was the first time you were on the show. You and I were kind of getting started about the same time, I guess.
Yes, yeah. I remember it was in my living room.
Yeah.
And I had my banner behind us, and we had the same type of director chair, so it was kind of deja vu.
Did you have a vision back then, or is it bigger than what you thought it would be?
Ooh, I would say I definitely had a vision.
Yeah.
I would tell people that I'm building my empire, and they would laugh.
Of course.
Right. And I knew what I wanted, like, for the business. I would say that vision has expanded and changed in ways that I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change a thing. I'm really happy with where I am. Yeah.
Including the struggles along the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how are you supposed to appreciate the good times if you don't experience the bad?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't, if everything's handed to you on a silver platter, then you don't really appreciate it.
Great way to put that. I couldn't agree with you more on that. And we could, I could probably do a couple hours talking to you about the things that you've done, but one that's Chris Hadfield is something that was probably one of your first big moments, would you say?
Definitely.
Talk about that.
So, oh my gosh, how long ago was that now? I can't even remember.
Right?
Yeah, it was
7
a long.
years?
Yeah, well,
Maybe
let's
longer?
see. I always go by how old Max was.
Oh, okay.
Right? So he'll be 20 this year, which is
Wow.
crazy. So if he was like 8 or 9,
okay,
right? We're going back.
Yeah.
And that was actually a really amazing experience on several levels, because that was a perfect example of I had a vision. I wanted to body paint models to camouflage into his photographs of Earth that he had taken from space.
Yeah.
And so I applied for the Awesome Foundation grant, and I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have the connections to Chris Hadfield and a venue and everything. But through that presentation, I connected with Susan from The Bookkeeper and John from DeGroots.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, let's do this together. So Susan had already planned on having Chris come to do a book signing. So she already knew the channels to get to.
Yeah.
And so we connected with Chris's son, and they said, you know what, that sounds like a really cool idea. Let's do it. And then John said, I've got the perfect venue.
Right.
And so then they said, all right, try again. Go for the second round of the Awesome Foundation grant. So the next month, I believe, it was very close. I did it again, and that time I got it.
That's awesome. I got to tell you, I'm a little envious there. There's somebody I haven't interviewed yet. Is Chris Hadfield? You're on my list, Chris.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. He's really supportive of this community here, and
absolutely,
and he's given back so much to so many, and he's just a genuine soul, I would say.
He's a genuine nice guy.
Yeah.
He's very humble. He's very personable. I used to say he was the most down to earth astronaut that you can imagine, right?
Good way to put it.
I remember he was in the back room and he was signing books before we started, and I was so nervous because there were thousands of people out there. And I had Max with me, and he started singing one of his songs to the kids that were there as he's like signing these books. And then we walked up together into this massive crowd, and he put his hand on my back and he talked to me the entire time, and he was genuinely interested in me and my art.
I'm glad to have you there.
And he just was very, he was just a great person to be around,
nice.
You know? Yeah.
So from that moment, did you kind of feel a little more like, here we go? Like was that the rocket for you, so to speak, where you're like, I'm okay, if I can do that.
Yeah, it definitely set the bar.
Right. Like, what was next after that for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had already gone full time.
Yeah.
I think that was my big leap of faith, right?
It's a big decision to make.
It is a big.
You had a young child, right?
Being a single mom, you know, living from like month to month, and I was working full time and then doing the Painted Cat on the side.
Wow.
So I was working a lot, and
good for you.
Thank you. Yeah. When people say like, oh, that's amazing, you know, 11 years, how do you do it? Like, sacrifice and a lot of hard work. Like, it's not easy, but when it's something that you love, it's worth it.
Yeah. Where did this come? Like, I always like to know like where your thing that we're talking about came from. How were you always creative as a child, or where did that come from? So
I've always loved art my entire life, as long as I can remember. I remember saying, when I grow up, I want to be an artist. And people said, well, that's not a real job. You have to have a real job. That's nice, but have a plan B. Yeah. Right. Unless you want to be a starving artist, you know. So I tried all the other jobs, and I love my fake job. Right. You know, like, sorry, guys. I never thought of that. I'm going to borrow that. Yeah, sure. Well, I use yours all the time. Are you paying my bills? Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah. If you're not paying my bills, you got no say in what I'm doing. That's right. Yeah. If you want to pay my bills, we can talk. That's right. That's right. So, yeah, I definitely have always loved art. I've always loved dressing up, Halloween, kind of whimsical, imaginative. Dressing up other people. Dressing up other people. And so I guess the big turning point for me was in 2004, and I was on the Art Walk committee. I was head of public relations, and my job was done the day of the festival. So the children's activities team, because we all had different roles on the committee, it just happened to be my best friend, Jenny. And she said, I want to do face painting. Would you be interested in doing face painting, because you're not doing anything during the festival? And I thought, yeah, sure, why not? That sounds fun. Little did I know that was going to change everything. Yeah. Because, you know, at first I was just walking around painting people, like kids, as I went. Sure. And then a lineup formed. And then one of the merchants grabbed 2 chairs and a TV tray, and I sat on the corner of Lochiel and Christina, and I painted the entire day. Wow. And it was like something was unlocked. There was an aha moment there. There was definitely right away, like, parents were like, do you do birthday parties? Like, would you be interested in coming to my son's birthday? And Absolutely, I would. Yeah. Do you have a card? No, but I can write it on this paper towel. Right. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. And, you know, I think what you do as far as the face painting goes, it's a really unique thing. There's not a lot of, you know, that can get close to people. Hairstylists, you know, maybe. You're close, you're touching.
how do most people, they're okay with that?
There's trust there, but it has to be established. So I have always considered myself a very personable human.
For sure.
Right? People have said that I'm easy to talk to, that I make them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's important, you know, because consent is key. I would never force a face painting on a child.
Yeah.
I want it to be a magical moment for them. I want it to be a time where I recognize their vulnerability and they can trust me. And then, of course, you know, the big reveal. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember where you face painted me years ago. I was a zombie.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember, but like I was really nervous about that.
You
I
were.
was like, I don't know, like you were in my space. I knew you were going to be in my space, right? And I don't want to say you talked me into it, but you relaxed me about what was going to happen.
Yes.
And I know it sounds silly that I was worried about it.
No, it's not silly at all.
I just felt like, I'm growing. What's the big deal, right? But I mean, yeah, it's
that's your personal bubble.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's got to be part of your craft, I guess, is where I was trying to go with that.
Yeah, I would say that my two passions are like creativity and community and connection. And so to find a career that combines the two is just ideal.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. You know, the community side of the Painted Cat. Where have you put yourself? I've seen you involved in a few different things, and some that are probably tough to deal with, maybe? Yeah,
I mean, I have worked for different like nonprofit organizations, like doing different festivals and fundraisers. I'm an advocate for, of course, mental health. That's number one. The LGBTQ two-spirit, you know, community, which has been in the forefront these days.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to voice my support for that. Someone once told me, like, oh, don't get political with your business, but you choose your battles. And, you know, when it comes to acceptance and self-love and community, like, and especially mental health, I mean, it's all connected.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to be an ally. I want to be someone that is a safe space for people to be themselves.
Yeah, and not to get political, but the LGBTQ plus community. I'm sorry if I don't say it all right. But
I know. Well,
you know, but,
it's fine. Yeah.
That's a sensitive area to be involved with.
Yes,
I mean, there is a lot of pushback. I mean, you talk about Sue from the bookkeeper. I know they've had some moments down there. Did you get some pushback and resistance by voicing yourself in that?
I did.
In that arena,
yeah. I went to the Drag Story Time and I recorded it as much as I could, and I made a little reel supporting Miss Amanda Villa.
Yeah.
And I lost followers. But you know what? That's fine. Because
like a lot of followers?
Yeah, like a substantial amount of followers. It took me a couple weeks to get my numbers back up.
Yeah, because you worked really hard. You've got a great following on Instagram.
Thank you. I worked very hard at it. Yeah. I'm going for that 10K.
Well, right. But there, and kudos to you for like stepping into those arenas, because I think a lot of us that put ourselves out there in front of a camera or in front, like you're very public as well. You do have to be careful about losing followers or customers, clients, right? Did you suffer any, other than financially, any of that through the pandemic? Like, were there some battles there? A lot of people's colors came to reality, right?
Yeah. I would say people had a very hard time with, some people had a very hard time accepting that I was not offering traditional face painting during the pandemic.
Like in person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
they didn't respect the fact that, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm not going to be up in your kid's face. I had to make sure that whatever I was doing was the safest. And so instead I took a break on the face painting and I started teaching. Right?
Yeah.
And I focused on that. Yeah. And then once I invested in an airbrush system, I started doing airbrushing.
Wow.
It's not until, actually, this past weekend was the first time that I had done a traditional brush and sponge face paint birthday party in 3 years. And I disinfect the kit between each kid, and I didn't do anything around
I don't know how,
like,
so you're airbrushing face painting using this airbrush system? Is that what I'm hearing,
Well,
or?
for this one this past weekend, it was actually just like the traditional paintbrush
Okay.
and sponge. Like it wasn't airbrushing.
Oh,
it was
okay.
actually like my old school face
But
painting.
airbrushing, like you use this for face, like.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? I've never
Yeah.
heard of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, it's great.
Wow.
It's waterproof. It's sweat proof. It's a little loud, and so it can be a bit more intimidating for
Okay.
young kids. But a lot of them are used to it because they've had it done at fairs. And
Is it
things.
quick? Quicker?
Very quick.
Okay.
As long as your gun doesn't get clogged, or
Okay.
because there's a lot of more like technical aspects to it.
Okay.
It's definitely not like I prefer the traditional style.
Yeah.
It's just more organic for me, and it's just more calm.
Yeah.
Whereas with an airbrush, it's a lot of noise, and you're like holding the stencil against the kid, and but you can get some really beautiful work done with
Okay,
it.
interesting. Let's move on more about you in the sense of, like, I know there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, I think so.
Where are you finding the 24 hours? Like, you're doing community things, you're doing events, you're doing. And then there's Max. I mean,
Yeah.
he's 20 now, so maybe you don't have to be around as much. He's capable of looking
He's
after
in
himself.
Ottawa. He's living
okay.
his life as a student
Yeah.
and learning the real world, and I'm just on the other end of the phone going, if you need to come home, you can come home.
Oh yeah. Stick it out though. Stick it out, right?
He's doing great. I'm so proud of him. I'm actually going to visit him over before March break, and I can't wait to see him. It's been so long.
Yeah.
And I really miss him. I'm so proud of him, and I am really excited for his future.
What's he taking?
Political science.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, look out.
There we go.
Look out.
Right? Has he got visions of his own already?
Oh yeah, he wants to be the next prime minister.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
planning on running for MPP in Ottawa in 2025, I think he said.
Wow.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's always been very ambitious and driven, right?
Wow, where would he get that from?
Yeah. Oh, I did my best.
Right. Well, that's a lot to balance, between
It
what you're
is.
doing and everything.
But I would say when everything shut down, that was a huge realization for me, because it was the first time in several years that I actually stopped. And I realized that maybe I didn't have the healthiest work-life balance, and maybe I was putting my mental health, my self-care, and my home life on the back burner in order to build my empire.
Right. You've
And
got to
so-
make time for everything, right? And
You do.
I have to be told once in a while, David, supper time, or stop, please, we need to go here, whatever, because I just get going, and
I know, you get in the zone,
when I'm
right?
tired, I'll go to sleep, and
Yep.
then I'll stop. Yeah, so you have to be reminded sometimes, right?
You do, yeah.
So,
I spent a lot more time in nature. I did more meditating and journaling. I did a lot of what they call shadow work, where you look back at the parts of yourself that you kind of just want to tuck away in the shadows, and you embrace it, and you realize it's all part of you, and every part of you deserves that kind of love,
yeah.
and so that was huge. And it really helped me to kind of do a personal realignment, I guess.
Yeah.
And remember what my goals were, what my values were, and what was most important. And I'm grateful for that time. It's unfortunate that it came about during a pandemic, but I think a lot of people feel that way, that it kind of gave them that cocoon to kind of sort things out that maybe they were too distracted to realize before. So going back into this, now that we're getting back into the hustle, it's really important to me to balance that time and not wear all the hats and do all the things and leave zero time for just being me and enjoying my life and my loved ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great way to put that. It's certainly important. And now, a part of the journey, we're sitting here. You go ahead, tell everybody where we're sitting.
We are sitting in my future studio space, Dave.
Right, and we're at Lambton
At
Mall.
Lambton Mall.
How exciting. Listen to that, right? I mean, look at your face right now. You'll have to watch this and see the smile you just put out there, because
I'm so excited.
you have lots of traffic here. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Okay, so I've been working with Lambton Mall for years, and so when they kind of approached me with this opportunity, I couldn't say no. So we're making it work. I'm going to be hiring and building a team as well, but this will be a creative space. I'm going to have a storefront in the front part here with painted cap merchandise and art supplies and art kits. And then in the back is going to be my studio where we can have classes and workshops and parties and special events. And I've got all kinds of tricks up my sleeve that I've been kind of, saving,
you always
right?
have.
Yeah. I don't stop coming up with ideas,
Yeah.
They're always coming up. So this is a huge space where we can finally kind of bring that vision to life. And I'm so excited. And I'm also going to be offering free kids activities on the weekends. It'll be between Friday and Sunday. So there will be lots of notice for the hours and everything for each weekend. But that'll be for the next 5 months. We're doing our first one on March 18th. So that's super exciting.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'm really excited about is on Fridays, I've teamed up with Autism Ontario, and we are doing a after-school arts program for children who are autistic.
Incredible.
And I mean, that's something that is very important to me. And I've always felt that art had the power to heal, and this is a great example of that.
Well, I've taken one of your painting classes, I guess you'd call it.
Yes, you did.
And I was another time, I don't know how she gets me to do this stuff because she's had me painted. I've learned to paint. Well, I won't say I've learned to paint. She got me to paint something.
You did a great job.
Had me dressed up as Santa Claus. I still have it. It hangs at home.
You do?
Yeah,
I love that.
But I was like, seriously? Like I was going, you want me to come out and do this? I don't know. And then...
and you were the only guy.
I was totally outnumbered in that room.
The ladies loved you.
I was very, very quiet. I did as I was told. But, and speaking as doing as I was told, like, that's, I don't always take instruction very well. It's one of my weaker standpoints, probably. Jennifer's probably laughing. But you're really good at directing. Like, you're great at, you recognize that everybody learns differently.
Yes. Oh, that's so important.
So you have to know how to adapt to each personality, I would guess, right?
Yep. Yeah, and it's about, again, creating that safe space, letting people know right away that we're here to have fun, that it's not a competition, which some people, they still think it's a competition, and that's fine. But I channel my inner Bob Ross.
Yeah.
And, like no mistakes, just happy little accidents, right?
Accidents, right? Yeah.
And really, that's what it's about, because as adults, we put so much pressure on ourselves. I don't have the same problem. Like with kids, they create their masterpiece and they're like, this is perfect, I'm the best, put it on the wall, like we're good, But adults, they will literally like stare at a blank canvas and be afraid to touch their paintbrush.
We're so critical of ourselves.
Yeah,
right?
because what if I mess up? What if it's not good enough? What if people laugh? It's like, listen, this is the first time you're trying this. It's not going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect, but it's a process. Enjoy it, And I say that to the kids too, because sometimes they do get hard on themselves.
Sure.
And they'll say, "Oh, I'm so bad at this," and I'll say, "You're not bad. It's that you're still learning."
Yeah.
And I'll stop them in their tracks.
That's good you say that, because I think even as we grow older, we tend to. I don't want to do that because it's hard. Well, yeah, it's hard because you've never done it before.
Right.
2 + 2 was what before you learned what it was.
Exactly. It takes time.
But I guess you probably have to. Okay, let me go out on a limb here and ask this one.
Okay.
Who's easier to teach, the male or the female?
Oh no. All right, listen.
Here, I'm going to get a politically correct answer here.
I would say that I have more experience when it comes to paint parties with female identifying people, right? I find that male identifying like to challenge me more.
Right.
But I haven't had as much experience with them. I did do a corporate paint party, and it was for one of the plants. And it was all guys. Right. And it was a woman who was the organizer. And I was really nervous. Because I'm like, they're going to challenge me. They did a really good job. Yeah. Like they laughed and they joked and they kind of gave each other a hard time. But when you get in the zone, it's like everything disappears around you and it's just you and that.
Age probably has a
canvas.
factor. Because I've learned, it's taken me a while, I've just learned to do as I'm told. I've just learned to just go, okay, sure. all right, whatever you think, and then and
happy wife, happy life.
Well, something like that, right? But I would like to do it again sometime because I've only got the one, right? And
yes.
And so far, that's my masterpiece.
I think, and you know what? It's only up from there.
That's right.
That was a snowman. Was it a snowman?
No, it was.
What was it?
They're like a purple flower type, lavender flowers or something like that, right in the field with whatever, and it hangs in my bathroom.
That's great. I love it.
So, you really, we go back to the start when we were sitting in your living room to now we're sitting here. You never really say look back, but it's okay to look back and appreciate, like. Have you done that lately? Like when you got this here, where you're like you're lying in bed looking at the ceiling, thinking backwards?
I've actually been doing a lot of reflection lately because, and I did a post about this the other day. I feel like I'm getting to know myself again, and I've changed so much. So it's almost like you're reintroducing yourself.
Right.
And a lot has changed. I mean, I'll be 42 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, and it's like the things that brought me joy, that I wanted to pursue when I was younger, have changed. You know, I used to be a social butterfly. I was always out. I was always doing something. Now, like, I like to stay home and be cozy.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm off the clock, I'm relaxing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're asking me to go out, like after like 9 o'clock, it better be.
It better be
good.
Eh?
It better be worth it because, I mean, and it's kind of like a double-edged blade, right? Because on one hand, I like being at home, but sometimes when I go out in public and it's like loud and there's a lot of people, I get like major anxiety.
Is that right?
Oh, big time.
Wow.
And if I have to do it for work, then I have to decompress afterwards. So it's about knowing my limits, respecting like my own boundaries. Like we expect everyone else to respect our boundaries, but we have to respect our boundaries. So that's been interesting. Self-care all the way.
Right?
Yeah. And it's not always pretty. It's not all bubble baths and days at the spa. Like,
it's not?
No. No, like
I don't go to the spa, but I know what you mean.
Doing the work can be messy, you know, and it can make you feel really vulnerable. But on the other side of that is this like awareness of yourself and knowing who you are and what you want and what you don't want. And I find that as you get older, your tolerance for what you don't want goes down.
You're reading my mind,
right?
Kat.
Yeah.
I give less of a
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just give less of
if it's not
now.
a full body yes, then it's not worth it.
Did you find in the beginning? Well, and you said there too, where like, oh, what was important to me isn't as important to me now. It's kind of like when we were, at least my age, it was you were 15, couldn't wait to be 16 to get your driver's license.
Yeah, always wanting to be older.
Sometimes I wish I didn't know how to drive anymore. I still want to let somebody else do the driving, right? But that's growth that you've done in there.
Yep. And
who's helped you along the way?
Well, I would say first and foremost, it would be my business coach, Chelsea Hart of Her Initiative.
Oh, okay.
She was actually a client to start off with. I was doing, we started off, I did her daughter's online virtual classes during the pandemic, right?
Okay.
During lockdown, I would do virtual classes. And then she said, my mom and my sister, we all want to do something because her sister was overseas and it was the only way that they could all kind of come together.
Right.
Would you be interested in doing kind of like a sketchbook kind of drawing class with us? Absolutely. So we did that. And then she said, I'm not sure if you know what I do. And I'm like, I have no idea what you do. And she's like, I do business coaching. And I'm about to branch off and do my own thing, and I think you've got something here. I think I could really help you to develop that.
Yeah. And
wow, did she ever. Because as creatives, we don't always like the admin side of things.
I probably need to give you a call there, Chelsea.
That's the unfun part, right?
Yeah.
If I could go back, that's what I would have gone to school for, like business and like admin, and maybe not accounting because like I don't like that, but just an awareness of that like, yeah, it's great to focus on the things that you love to do, but if you don't do all the behind the scenes stuff, it's all going to crumble. You have to build on a solid foundation. You know, and she really helped me to see that, like, from the big picture, and create structure and create consistency. And now, you know, I have a sustainable income with these art classes that I'm doing, and I'm watching it get easier every month instead of reinventing the wheel, because we're creating these systems, and my overwhelm is down. You know, my goal, fingers crossed, is to not burn out this year.
Right.
That's I would love that, because every year
you've burned out.
Oh yeah. And because if you don't take breaks, your body will force you to take breaks.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't taking breaks. I was just go, go, go. And I was stretching myself paper thin, and then I would end up in the hospital with a throat infection, or you know, whatever was going around, I would get, and then I would be, you know, down and out, and I'd have to get other people to take care of everything that was my responsibility before. Wow. And it was exhausting. Right? So she's really helped me to create that work-life balance, have that structure. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. And, you know, if not her, then someone of
somebody
that
you
strain.
connect with.
Yeah.
I love listening to you talk, you know, because in some of this conversation, I am putting myself back in your living room that so many years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember how you even talked in this other interviews, and like, I've seen you grow just from afar, you know, and to hear the way you talk now, to where you've definitely grown and matured, and I mean that in a very complimentary way.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Right, you know, and that can be hard to do sometimes,
sure
because if we're stubborn, or nobody's going to tell me what to do kind of attitude, and we tend to have that when we're 20 or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
we think we know everything, right?
Of course you do, of course you do, right? Take on the world, right? As you have literally with Chris Hadfield taking on the world, and you taking on the world, and everything in between that you've done. I know there's so much more. So now here we are at Lambton Mall again, and March 18th.
March 18th is a soft opening.
It's kind of a soft opening.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can tell us about what's going to happen here that you haven't shared? Can I pull on those strings?
Well, April 1st will be the grand opening.
Okay, all right.
So that's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
And you can't see this space right now, but I've got my work cut out, like you said.
Definitely, definitely.
You won't even recognize it when it's done.
I can't wait. I'm super excited for you, and I got a feeling we might be around for that. And what would you say out of all of this, bringing you to this point, to where we're sitting here today, what was the toughest struggle for you?
The toughest struggle, I would say, when you're an entrepreneur, you can sometimes get tunnel vision. And you don't realize that it affects the people around you. And so, you know, looking back, there's times where I wish that I would have kind of gotten out of that tunnel and kind of been more aware of everything that was happening around me, and not so eye on the prize, because a lot of damage can be done to your loved ones around you, and just the life that is around you that does not stop when you're focused on your goals. You know, I would say that's tough. But I've accepted that. You know, we can only learn from, you know, the choices that we've made.
Yep.
And I do my best to be more mindful these days, and more like just in the moment, and appreciate everything around me. Like, gratitude is key, you know.
Perfect.
So I would say that was probably tricky. And also just balancing, because, you know, you're not always going to have great days. And sometimes you have to kind of put on that mask. And, right? Just, ta-da, everything's fine, you know, when it's not.
I have a saying, though, to interrupt you there. I don't believe there's bad days, just bad moments in the days, but sometimes there's just a whole bunch of bad moments.
Just a string of bad moments, right? It's a bad day, not a bad life, right? Yeah. And so that was hard sometimes, you know, feeling like, because I like to be as genuine as I can. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a very sensitive person, and having to tuck away those things, like the different struggles that I went through in relationships and like with my own mental health and my family, loss, you know, it's like there has to be a place for compassion. There has to be a place for empathy. We don't have to be cold-hearted business people to climb that ladder, you know? It's okay to be human.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
we're human.
No kidding, right? Before we wrap up, I do want to ask you about politics.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts on you know, how is our city doing that way? Or I know I'm digging here, right?
Yeah. No, I am so excited about our new city council. I have quite a few friends on there now,
Right.
and I see them doing the work.
Yeah.
And you know, it's going to take time. I feel like we're a little behind. You know.
Yeah,
It's going to take time for us to catch up, but it's becoming a more inclusive community in a lot of ways, and I think that's great. You know, there's always room for improvement.
Always.
I don't always agree with all the decisions that are made.
No.
But
Nor should you really.
no.
You know, like,
yeah. Like
even with your friends, like, you know, sometimes you go, I don't know about that, right? But
exactly. Yeah. But I do believe that we're getting there.
we're headed in the right direction.
I think
That's
we're
where I
headed
was
in the
kind
right
of going
direction.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's always, when I say politics, people go, what does he want to know, right? But no, just what direction you think we're going, and that's positive. So, boy, I wish I had more time to talk to you. We're probably going to talk more after we shut the camera off. But the Painted Cat, now here at Lambton Mall, starting March 18th for the soft open. And still thepaintedcat.ca online.
That's right.
And of course, Instagram.
Yes,
and
please.
where else are you?
Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
The kids got me on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm there too.
I know,
and I'm
it's
the
so
old
weird,
guy.
right? I'm not dancing.
No, I'm not doing any of that. I didn't know you were on TikTok. I'll have to follow you there.
Perfect. Yes,
Right,
same.
Sure. So, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you,
You've done a
Dave.
fantastic job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here in the space with the Painted Cat. Make sure you're here. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, Kat. Super proud of you. And we had a nice conversation after the interview as well. Just, again, talking about life and how to get through things and successes and stories. And we had a lot of fun. Thanks so much for your time, Kat. And congratulations. You can see her in the Lambton Mall. Just head on down there. You'll find her next to GameStop. And she's got some big plans, working on getting things ready for March the 18th for soft opening, and then there'll be a grand opening coming later as well. So congratulations, Kat. I really am proud of you, and I look forward to getting into the studio when she's got it all complete, and we'll show it off a little bit more. So, of course, follow her online, thepaintedcat.ca, and Painted Cat on Instagram, etc. She's kind of everywhere. Thanks, Kat, and looking forward to seeing you down again at Lambton Mall. And thanks to all of you for watching. Listen, click the like button, the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. But really, the most important button that you can click is the share button. And that will share the message of the guests that I have here on the show and spread what they're doing in our community. So go ahead, do it right now. Click that share button. And of course, thanks to all of you for always watching and coming on board to support me here at the show. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Here it comes. Bye for now.